It is another big day in the fight against COVID-19. In just a few hours, Moderna will have their meeting with the FDA seeking its vaccine to be approved for emergency authorization. This is just 1 week after, you remember, Pfizer got its vaccine approved, and healthcare workers have already started to receive those doses that we showed you this week. Hannah Davis live this morning in Dallas to tell us what we can expect to hear today.
Yeah, good morning, Kara. This is going to be a big day. That FDA group is going to be looking at this new vaccine from Moderna to look over the research and ultimately make a decision. We could possibly see it moving forward in the next couple of days, but of course we have to wait and see what comes out of today's meeting. Let's look at the details of what we know right now. This second vaccine comes from the drug company Moderna, and the research says it has shown a 94.1% success rate of protecting people from COVID in trial runs. Now, unlike Pfizer's, which was approved by the FDA last week and is already being administered to frontline healthcare workers and those most at risk, Moderna's vaccine does not have to be kept at such a low temperature for storage, and the second dose given is in 28 days instead of Pfizer's 21. Now, the development of these vaccines and the research into them has simply been groundbreaking and unprecedented, and there are brave fellow citizens right here in North Texas who helped with the process. Take a look at these two high school teachers from Dallas. Diane Birdwell and Vicki Tillery have spent their careers as teachers in public service, and now they signed up for the Moderna trials in July. Both women say this was their way of giving back to the country and to help all of us move forward. They say they chose to participate in these trial studies because they wanted to, quote, step up when their country needed it most.
She and I would text each other and on the other people we know, and this about, did you hear what they said? They said 94%.
And it's kind of like a sigh of relief.
Bravo to those ladies and to everyone who participated. Such an amount of gratitude to them. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci has been speaking out about this newest vaccine as well. He says so far the data looks encouraging, but says that it's vital that 75 to 85% of the population get this vaccine for that herd immunity. He also gave a tentative timeline, adding that if all of this happens, we could see things return to, quote, back to normal by next fall. Again, that's if we stay the course for the vaccines. Again, this Moderna vaccine, the meeting going over, it's going to happen today with the FDA. It will be live streamed. We've got crews that are going to be watching every single portion of this, so we'll have the latest throughout the day on air and online. Kara, back to you.
Okay, so we have seen the COVID vaccines rushing into Texas hospitals this week. Frontliners stepping up to get their shots. This morning at 8:45, Governor Greg Abbott will provide an update on how we're doing, the number of vaccines distributed, and how many we can expect as the rollout continues. He'll be joined by state Health and Emergency Services chiefs, so you can watch that at WFAA.com or on any of our social platforms. Again, that's at 8:45 this morning. So as healthcare workers are lining up to go ahead and get their dose of the Pfizer vaccine, many people still sort of skeptical about receiving it. And according to a new study, this is especially true for those in the African-American community. To help bridge that gap, the NAACP held a virtual town hall. So they're hoping to instill trust in the vaccine for people who are wary about it. Ariel Placencia live this morning from her home. And Ariel, what did leaders discuss? What did folks learn, and did it help?
Yeah, Kara, so addressing and answering questions about the vaccine, certainly the focal point of yesterday's discussion. What was the process in developing this vaccine? How effective is it? What kind of questions should you already start to ask your doctor about so you can, be familiar with it? And I do want to share some numbers with you this morning, and I'll start with this. It's according to the Kaiser study. Take a look. Nearly a third of African Americans are hesitant to get the vaccine. The majority saying that they're concerned about possible side effects. Half are worried they will get COVID-19 from taking the vaccine, and then 48% say they have a general distrust in vaccines. Now, as you mentioned, the NAACP held a virtual town hall last night called Unmasked, where experts got together to talk about how the African American community can build an effective action plan moving forward in this pandemic. And that, of course, includes awareness, preparation, and ultimately a confidence in the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, last night, U.S. Senator Cory Booker discussed his push for proper vaccine funding. And then we also heard from one of the leading scientists at the National Institutes of Health, a woman who worked closely with Moderna and who Dr. Anthony Fauci credited for helping to develop the vaccine.
Getting vaccinated is about doing your part to be someone who cannot really take up the space in the dynamics of transmission in your community. That is really what vaccinations are about.
Now, moving forward, the NAACP president says her advice to the African American community is to start to have those conversations now with your friends and family about the vaccine, which is expected to be rolled out to the general public in the spring. Kara.